Hi everyone, TowerSky123 here, and today I'm reviewing Torchwood Zone 10.
The 21st century is when everything changes, and you've got to be ready.
Zone 10 is the second release of the second series of Torchwood, and is one that continues on the committee plotline that was set up right at the start with the conspiracy, and has then been continued on since then. And so you very much need to have picked up a couple of prior releases before this one. Just thought I'd give that as a forewarning, as some Torchwood releases have tended to go in a more standalone direction, such as the previous two, More Than This, and the Victorian Age. Victorian Age especially is very much a cut-off piece set in Victorian times. This story, however, is continuing on with the main thread, and does so without Captain Jack, who has very much been a driving force of that main committee thread. But now we have a different character taking the reins, with Toshiko Sato doing so and heading off to Russia. So there you have the Russian landscape of Zone 10 in the background there, with Neko Mori playing Toshiko Sato right there in her snow gear. And back there you have a capsule, and also something that I didn't notice until I looked at it quite a while after it was first released. We do have a space astronaut in a white space suit there, so it does sort of blend in. You can forgive me, you probably all noticed that earlier because you are a lot smarter than I am. And it's written by David Llewellyn, who has actually been driving this committee plotline really. He wrote The Conspiracy and Uncanny Valley, so yeah, and he got 8 written on the side there, because it is the 8th release, despite being the second of the second series. I think they go 2.2, but they decided to forget the series numbers when it comes to this, and just gone for numbers like that, I guess. So yeah, anyway, you got Zone 10 disc there. Taking that to one side, you can see you've got the entirety of the first series behind there. Putting that back in there. Now taking out the booklet. If I can, that is. Yeah, here we go. No, we don't. Yes, we do. You have the cover again right there. Production credits on the back. And then inside we have the pictures of the cast right there, and also the next release, Torchwood Ghost Mission, with Andy Davison taking charge, and that should be quite an interesting one. I'm quite looking forward to that one, to be honest. So then, this story has been hyped up quite a bit as the return of Toshiko Sato, and you know, she's sort of like seen as a bit of a fan favourite. I never really watched much of the original Torchwood, so I can't really tell that much, but I can say that I did like her quite a bit in this one. Even if her voice was rather similar to Osgood, and having listened to Unit Extinction recently, it did get a bit, not confusing, to be honest. I knew it was a completely different character, but at the same time it was a bit, oh, that does sound familiar. That sort of vibe going on there. So yeah, but anyway, that's totally irrelevant really. Yeah, the story itself, you know, it's Toshiko Sato heading to Russia to investigate the pulse, or the blip, or it has many different names. It's sort of like set up as this thing that is a mystery really, and has baffled many people, and Toshiko Sato is finally able to decipher it, and then heads off to investigate in Zone 10. And Zone 10 is quite an interesting location. Instantly, I was quite a bit let down by what was going on there, but I think nevertheless the mystery they set up was very interesting at the same time. And often when you set up a very good mystery, it's very difficult, almost impossible to really satisfy that mystery. And you know, it's not a complete disappointment of a reveal as to what happened there. You know, it does set up more questions, this story, than I expected it to. It's like works in itself, at the same time is standalone, but at the same time it does have elements which continue on that committee plot line and pick up where Torchwood Uncanny Valley left off in that respect. And I think I'm getting into the committee plot line now. At first I thought it worked for one episode, and it was originally intended for one episode I believe, but then after that I think they may have revealed too much in the first release and are then grasping at straws as to where to go from there. But here, it sort of like proves that it can get more interesting, and things are becoming more interesting here as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go next. I think what's interesting is that we don't know when it will be picked up next really, because this release I was expecting to just be standalone release about Toshiko Sato investigating the pulse, but instead that ends up being quite heavily tied into the committee itself. So who knows where the committee themselves will pop up next. We've sort of like got two ongoing plot threads at the moment, with Torchwood investigating the committee, and then we also have Eve Miles setting up the new Torchwood team going on there as well. So that's quite interesting how they're going with this. Obviously Torchwood aren't doing it to like group things here with Big Finish. They are very much going individual characters per release, sometimes two, and like jumping around the timeline. I think that's working for them so far, and it helps them to tell interesting stories, like single characters here. And finally Toshiko Sato gets her time to shine, because I believe she was very much cooped up in the hub a lot of the time, and this works as a very good character piece for her. And ultimately that character piece moment did creep up on me quite a bit, to be honest, because I was expecting it when I first went into this story, but then we sort of got all this committee plotline going, this interesting storyline, and then suddenly some character moments start popping up, and it took me by surprise a bit. Other characters in this story are Maxim Ivanov and Anna something or another. Oh gosh, I'm being very offensive right now. Anna Volkova, that's it. And she was a fairly interesting character, but there's not much I can really say about her, because she is very much tied into the plot, and I don't really want to reveal anything, except she has quite an interesting end in this story, and has quite an interesting character journey as well. And I can say that she is the one in the trailer who says Toshiko Sato, the truth is in Zone 10. That's all I'll really say about her. The actress playing her, admittedly, the Russian accent did sound a bit off. It sounded like American TV Russian accent. I don't have much of an ear for accents when it comes to this, but I could tell that one was slightly off. Maxim Ivanov is probably better, I'd say. It's hard to really say without much to compare it to, but he does a good job. But we're not basing him on their Russian accents too much, we're basing it on their ability to act. I think he does a very good job acting in this one, and acts very well alongside Neko Mori. They have a very interesting back and forth going between them, and I think the two characters, Toshiko Sato and Maxim Ivanov, have quite a bit of chemistry going on between, not sort of like relationship chemistry, but sort of like friendship chemistry, and I think that works quite nicely. It's nice when you have two characters who get along quite well and have quite interesting motives going on there, but get along well at the same time. And that's all I can really say about him without going too much into detail. I can say that he is a KVI agent, and KVI is sort of like the Russian equivalent of Torchwood, and it does play with that idea quite a bit, in that they know about the committee too, but I'll say no more on that front. And overall it's hard to really talk plot details about this story, because it is quite well tied together really, and the moment I start talking about it you'll be able to piece the whole thing together pretty quickly really. And I don't want to spoil any of that, and I think the reveals are quite tied into the plotline as well, so I think this is one you very much have to listen to. I can't really say anything beforehand. I will say that the plot does take a while to get going though. It's sort of like some stuff set up, but it takes a while to actually reach Zone 10 itself, and some odd stuff happens on the way there, and do feel that it's very much killing time for no reason really, because this story is not over runtime, but you know, it wouldn't hurt to have a few minutes cut off it. And I think, you know, those first that little bit after the story's got going and before they reach Zone 10 could easily have been cut down, because that was a bit overlong and a bit unnecessary at the same time. But other than that, you know, there aren't really many things wrong with Zone 10. It's a very enjoyable story, and it's an 8 out of 10 from me really. Well done to David Llewellyn for writing a very good story. Well done to Nathan Mori for stepping back into the role that she hadn't played since the end of Series 2 really, and you know, stepping into that role, stepping back into that character is very interesting. And of course, great character work in this as well. As I say, it snuck up on me a bit. Some great background characters also. The main three do a very good job. You also have some sort of like other smaller roles going on there, but they're not really characters, they're more just plot devices. So yeah, that's all I've really got to say about Torchwood Zone 10. Solid Torchwood release, I will say, and yeah, that's all I've got to say. So thank you all for watching. Next review will be of the TV movie, as it is 20 years since that first aired, more or less. You know, not got the timing exactly right, but got it more or less there. So yes, thank you all for watching everyone. Hope you look forward to that review, and I will see you all then. Bye everyone.
It all started with that sound, broadcast from a point 62 miles above Siberia. A single pulse over and over again at exactly the same interval, never stopping for over 40 years. NASA always said it was something built by the Russians, a satellite of some sort. The Russians said it must be something built by NASA. It had many names over the years: the blip, the bloop, the squidge. In Russian, they simply call it pulse. I've been working on it for so long in my own time, trying to unravel it, find out what it meant. Then one night, I cracked it. A message that had been baffling the world for over 4 decades.
Toshiko Sato, Pravda v zonie 10. Toshiko
Translate.
Sato, Pravda v zonie 10. Toshiko Sato, the truth is in zone 10. Toshiko Sato, the truth is in zone 10.